Hello everyone. In this video, you will learn about when to use ReferenceWorks. Firstly, I would like to tell you that ReferenceWorks is a huge library, a library of innumerable books. So there is a lot of things you can do with this program. There are infinite possibilities. I would just share in brief what all you can do. You can search any symptom from the vast library. You can search characteristic symptom of the patient from its library. You can limit your focus on what you want. You can search in that, you can search any word related to a book or any word related to a remedy. And suppose there are cases where you feel that there is incompleteness in the repertorization. The rubrics do not cover all the remedies, or there is no totality matching. In that case, also you can use reference works and much more. So let us go about each of these points and study with the help of case examples because that is the best way you can understand this. Searching any symptom from the vast library. So I'll just share first case. A patient comes to us and there is ulcer on the right side of the tongue. As you can see, there is ulcer on the right side of the tongue. In the second picture, the ulcer is there and there is a whitish faint border on it. Now these complaints are there since the past 2-3 weeks. On closer examination, the ulcer have whitish borders and are little deep. Now what do? You have a lot of options to explore the case and study it and solve it. So the most easiest and the most flexible way over here is to use the reference works. So I'll just share what I did in this case, what is best and easy for everyone. It is to use reference works and put the keywords of the case. So here you have three words: ulcer, right tongue. So you go to reference works and you just type your words ulcer and the number 3, then the word right, and then the word tongue, and you press enter or return on a Macintosh, and you have 8 remedies in the clipboard having 39 references. So you can see here the reference string opens up giving you some references for these 8 remedies. Now you can just scroll down from this window to get an overview about what the case is about and what is it mentioned in the source books. And if you want to read at any point of time any remedy, say the first remedy which is arsenicum hydrogenisatum, you just click on it and the materia medica opens up in the background giving you the exact matching symptom. So we can read over here from herring in the chapter taste and tongue. Tongue somewhat enlarged on a right, a deep irregular ulcer. Next day, a second nodular swelling of a darker color coming to a point. This is somewhat similar. So what we do over here, we read all the references whichever we have got. We press the button tab and it goes further. So you can see here the next remedy which comes up in my materia medica is clematis from Hughes, and it has mentioned Same symptoms persisted. The painful spot in the right arch of palate had an ulcer on it in the right border of the tongue, two deep transverse fissures, very painful. So this is also somewhat similar. So we go further by pressing the button tab, and as we go on reading, we come to a remedy which is named as Merc and you can read over here from Merc in Elaine's keynotes chapter mouth. The ulcer on the right edge of the tongue is not more than 3 millimeters in length. It forms a raised granulated surface with a wide border which cuts it transversely in several places so as to divide it as it were into islets. This was the exact match in the case. If you could see the picture again, I'll just take you back to the picture. So you can see the picture here. The tongue has whitish borders to the ulcers. The ulcers are on the right side of the tongue, and this is what we saw in our source book also. And Mercksol helped this patient a lot. So what you can do with the reference works, you can find the exact symptom of the patient anywhere from the entire library in homeopathy. Now I would like to share something about searching characteristic symptom of the patient. So a case of cough. The patient complains of cough since the past 3-4 days. There is dry cough, very less expectoration. There is pulling, drawing type of pain in the throat every time when he coughs. There is no change in the thirst, appetite. There is no fever. So what you can do over here, you can use the homeopathic Google. This is what I can broadly describe. You go to reference works and you close these previous windows and you remove the previous rubric by just selecting it and pressing a backspace. And when you go to the search window, you put the keywords of the current case, which is drawing, throat, cough, and you press enter. There you are with just one remedy, which is borax. How and where do you get this search from? So there is a reference string which opens up in this window below, and you just click over it and you can read over here: sore throat, tough mucus in throat, difficult to death, tearing in larynx, extending to chest, exciting cough, roughness in throat pit, and drawing stinging pain when coughing or sneezing, apthe. This is mentioned in the general section of Lilienthal, which is a clinical book. Very interesting. So what happens with the use of reference works, you can reach to the exact expression of the patient from the exact mention in the source books, clinical books, case magazines, case discussions, and much more. In this case, borax helped this patient a lot. Now we move on to something else which is really very interesting, and this is using limits to focus on what we want. There are many times in certain cases where we feel that we should use a particular book. Let's see this with the help of a case. So a case comes to us with complaints of epistaxis, that is hemorrhage from the nose, and this constant single symptom is there since many weeks. Now if I were to search this symptom in a particular book, say for example, I use a lot of boric for these clinical searches. So what I can do is I can just focus on searching only from boric's materia medica. I go to the program and I go to the search window and I type epistaxis Now the best part over here is there are a lot of small icons over here on the left hand side corner of the search window. I just click over the book icon because it gives me the option to limit to certain books, and I click on individual books, and once the list opens up I just type BOERE, and then it opens up Borix Materia Medica. I just click on Borix Materia Medica and I press OK. Now you can see the ball which is there in the left hand side lower corner of the search window has turned into red. This means that I have limited my search window to something which I just did. So I just clicked enter over here and I have say 29 remedies from the Borix Materia Medica giving epistaxis, and I just scroll down and get an overview of all the remedies over here. It begins from A to Z, ammonium carb to class B bursa. So what I would like to share over here is that you can focus your limit to whatever you want, and this can help a lot in your practice. You want to search psoriasis from boric, you can do that. You want to search some rare clinical condition from boric, you can search that. This gives you endless possibilities and helps you to focus on what you want. The next focus what you can help have with this reference works is to focus to a particular remedy. Let me share a case of diabetes mellitus. Since 3 years there is lot of weakness, cramps in the legs, appetite is poor, their schedule of eating appetite is irregular. Now in the mind he says he is highly irritable. In anger he feels like hitting the opposite person. If he doesn't like someone, he hits opposite person and is he feels that he is always right and the opposite person is always wrong and hates the person. So I felt very strongly that this case requires ferrum metallicum. But does ferrum metallicum cover diabetes? Many a times in our practice it may so happen that we are wondering whether this remedy covers this particular pathology. It's a question for us to think over and search in all the literature whatever is available with us. So what you can do with the help of reference works is that you go to the same search window. Let me show you how to do it. We'll remove the epistaxis. I just click a backspace and we remove the limits also, which is there in the lower left hand side corner which we just created in the previous case, and I click over here diabetes, and now there is a small bottle icon just next to the book icon. I just click over here and I select the remedy FERR. I just click and type the letters FERR, and it I can just click on the alphabets which are written over here ferrum, and I press OK. Once I press enter, I am now limiting my search only to diabetes mention about ferrum in the entire literature, and here I can get it from the different books over here. 7 references about this remedy ferrum. Now suppose I think that okay, the remedy is ferrum, but how about searching diabetes only from the iron series? All the different ferrum compounds. Very interesting. So what I do over here, I just remove this limit for this time being. I again go to this bottle icon and I click over individual remedies. And once I click ferrum, there is a small triangle in front of ferrum, which I just click and it opens up the whole list where ferrum belongs. It belongs to iron, it belongs to metals, it belongs to stage 8, it belongs to ferrum series, and I just click on iron because I would like to limit to only the iron series. Diabetes to be focused only on the iron series, and I would want to search all the different compounds of ferrum, and I press OK. Now I'm limiting my search to only iron compounds, and I press enter, and here I get some 9 remedies mentioning ferrum for different from the different books. The books I can read over here. On the left hand side there is a remedy. In the center there is, you can see the section. I just scroll over and I can read which section to it belongs. And once I take the cursor over the books, the short forms, the abbreviations are mentioned. I can read over here the book names also. And I scroll down and I can read something interesting. For example, I just click on ferrum muriaticum, important remedies in diabetes, and so on and so forth. And then I read from Clark's Materia Repertory about diabetes, and then again further Ferrum Muriaticum from the Complete Repertory 2015. So the best part of this program is that you not only have Materia Medica, provings, source books, case discussions in this reference works, but also the repertory extractions, which can be of a lot of help. In some of the videos further, you will learn about how repertory extractions can also help you. So in this case, you can perform a search like this and you can study all the different ferrum remedies and you can think of which ferrum compound fits the patient best. Moving further to the last feature of this reference works, and it is incompleteness in repertorization. Now many a times we feel that our repertorization is not having the remedies in totality. It does not give the full picture expression even after using the best possible expression of rubrics. So in those cases, you can use the reference works and it helps you a lot. Let's see this case. She's a 55-year-old lady, reported long back in December 2013, and there was lot of pain in left hypochondrium, urging for stool accompanied by vomiting. The stool is very scanty, thirst is adequate, there is profuse dryness of the mouth, and there is no difference in the taste of mouth. Now what we can do, we search in the latest repertory. I'll just show you the repertorization what I could get, and I took 3 rubrics. One is from the chapter rectum, urging desire vomiting with, the second is stool scanty, and the third is mouth dryness. And there was no remedy covering the latest rubrics. So I was wondering whether I should really give something from the specific remedies, the rare remedies, or should I really help her case with the help of a search in reference works? What I could come up with is searching for something very peculiar. What is characteristic in this case, and what I cannot find in MAC repertory, in my normal repertory, and that was this main symptom, which is stool urging vomiting with. So I go to reference works, and I close the previous windows, and I type over here stool and then 3, the number 3, and then urging, then the number 3, then vomiting, and then again the number 3 and with. And now I just remove this limit because it will now limit only to ferrum, so I have to remove it. Once I remove it, I am open to all these searches possible, and here I get few remedies. Stool urging vomiting with, yeah, I get 14 remedies over here: arsenic, bufo, cadmium, caladium, cantharis, china, cuprum, natrum carp, nux vomica, sanguinaria, sepia, sulfur, and vipera. Now there are a lot of remedies coming over here, and in my repertorization I had very few remedies. So what I can do over here, I can, take this super rubric. This is a super rubric which is created in my normal repertorization. no such. The rubric only had few remedies, but here the rubric is created on its own. It's called a super rubric, and I can export it to my normal repertorization, just so that I can see the whole repertorization together. So that I can do with the help of the option in under edit and export rubric, or else there is a shortcut for that, which is control E. So let us see what I could do. And I brought my rubric search in ReferenceWorks to my repertorization chart, and you can see here with the previous rubrics I brought it, and I could use it with my repertorization chart. And there are a few remedies coming like sulfur, china, natramka, naxwamika. China was given to this patient with much benefit. So that's all from this PowerPoint, that it helps you complete the incomplete parts. ReferenceWorks is an unparalleled tool. It has infinite possibilities and it can transcend your practice a lot. That's all from this synergy team. It helps you to innovate, it helps you to get inspired, and we are all homeopaths with you. Thank you from the synergy team.